So this video is going to go over how to structure or design your course in Schoology. So once you've logged into Schoology, head over to your sandbox, and I've got one here. Now, all we're going to go over right now is the way to design this. I'm not going to actually show you how to create the materials in this video. We're just going to talk about the overall design, because how you design your course is going to completely change the way that you and your students interact with Schoology. So I have a couple examples here for us to look at. The first example is, you have the option of having your Schoology set up kind of like your Google Classroom and your Google Classroom feed. So you could create folders by week, and inside of those folders you post that week's discussion, any homework assignments, things like that, links to stuff that you want them to do or interact with, quizzes. So that is one option, and if that's how you're going to use Schoology, then you would use this update section, kind of like the Google Classroom feed, where you post announcements, but basically the landing page where you want the kids to go primarily is going to be here, because you're going to have all their weeks listed. If that's the case, under course options, you're going to want to change it so their landing page defaults to maybe materials instead of updates. So then that way, click Save Changes. That student, whenever they open your class, it will go straight to this where it has folders by week. Now, alternatively, you can also set this up a little bit more like Schooloop. And you can do that in one of two ways. So let me explain. Let's say that primarily you don't have a lot of online discussions, you don't have a lot of online things for them to fill out. For example, you teach math, you teach it out of a textbook, and you really just need to post the assignments. So if that's the case, and you have all your materials already organized, let's say in Google Drive, you can create a folder such as this one that says materials or project, and you can just put inside of their links to everything that you already have organized in Google Drive. So I actually already have every chapter of Algebra 2 organized in Google Drive with the notes, the answer keys, the worksheets, etc. I could just put them all into one folder and have it be kind of like the locker on Schooloop, where they just click here to access all the resources for that section. Now, let's say you want it to be a little bit more granular. In other words, like you do want to post assignments. You want to post more than just a link to resources. You want to post assignments and discussions. Then you might want to break it up by chapter. So I have an example here. So we've got chapter 1, and notice that I've got, a home page with information. I've got a link to the note packet. I've got a link to all the videos, and then also the assignments. So if I click on this chapter 1 here, it's going to show me all of these. Now, the very first thing it's going to show me is the home page, which is a page that's embedded. So instead of it being a folder or a link they click, all of this content is embedded and opened already. Whereas here you can see there's a link that's not embedded, so it doesn't automatically open. Same with these folders. They don't automatically open. Now, when I go up here, you can see that I have a description of what they're going to be doing in chapter 1, links to the textbooks, the online portal, and the note packet. And then we also have here, you can embed, if you have like a spreadsheet with the homework assignments, you can embed that as well. If I click on the chapter 1 videos, I have made this all embedded instead of links, which is really nice because then the kid's not having to click outside of Schoology. So again, I'll show you how to do all this in a separate video. I'm just trying to show you different options for how to build out your Schoology. So if we come back here, again, you can make it really bare bones where you just post some links to materials. You could do it by week. You could also just do it by chapter. One thing to mention is the assignments are a little bit funny. So if you want to post assignments, maybe this is for English and you're having them write an essay and you're having them have a discussion and all these other things, that you'd want to actually have all their assignments posted under materials, right? So that they can interact with those materials. And then they'll also populate here. Anytime you create a homework assignment, it will also automatically pop up in the gradebook. So here are those homework assignments, and if I click on them, it will take me to those assignments. Now, alternatively, what if you have some external platform where they're doing all their assignments on? You still want to add those assignments to the gradebook, but you don't necessarily want to duplicate adding the homework assignments under the materials and then it's just blank or it's just a link when you already have something like I have here, which is this home page that tells them, here's a link to the portal, here's the homework assignments. I don't necessarily need a separate folder for assignments unless maybe it's a worksheet or something, right? So if that's the case and you don't really need these, so think kind of like Schooloop where the gradebook is separate from the locker, you can actually just go to the gradebook and you can click this button here and you can add a grade column and you can add the assignments in there. And you can still pick your scale, your points, your category. We'll still give it a due date. Click create. Now, that assignment is in the gradebook. You can grade it or you can import the grades from some external platform. It's not going to show up as a material, but notice it showed up right here. It will show up in their upcoming feed. So if you just want to mention that there's some sort of an assignment that's due, but you don't want to make it its own assignment inside of Schoology, that's an option as well. There's one final option, which takes me back to where you want the landing page to be. So you might want the landing page to be updates. If you have littles that you're working with, here's what I mean. Navigating through materials folder is going to be probably pretty challenging for little kids. Maybe middle, like 4th through 8th would be okay with week 1, week 2, maybe okay with chapter folders, but littles are not going to do so well with having their landing page be the materials folder. You'd be better off going to your course options and setting your landing page to be your updates. And there's a cool trick where you can take a bunch of images and put them into a Google Doc. You can then make each of these little icons link to a section in your materials folder. So the little kids never go to the materials folder. They just go to the updates and then they click, this could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it links to a folder you have in materials that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday that you update as you go each week. So this is really great for kids who are not going to be good at navigating a lot of complicated folders. You can press this and it will pin this post to the top of updates and to the top of materials. And then when they click on this, it will take them exactly to where they need to go. So maybe if I had to have this be my chapter 1 folder, then when they click on it, it will immediately open up to this page and they're not having to find this page on their own. So again, that would be, you'd want to have set the landing page to updates. I will show how to do this in a separate video. It's a little bit more complicated. You can still post additional updates and they will show up in the feed. And then you can at any time remove something that you've pinned. You can only pin this, once you pin something else, it'll replace this. So kind of keep that in mind as you're trying to decide on how you're going to set this course up. Last but not least, I do want to just point out, let's go ahead and remove this. If you decide that you want to build your course and then once your classes populate, you want to transfer everything over, you can transfer the materials that you build out. You can save this to resources and then from resources, load it onto a different course. What you can't do is updates. So if you were posting these, I wouldn't spend a lot of time doing it until you have your courses because this doesn't transfer. Only the materials folders will transfer. Additionally, you can actually build all these materials directly into resources and then transfer them to a new course. So you don't have to do them necessarily in a sandbox course.